This is Liberty Today. Is our economy headed for a crash? Sam Kephart weighs in on that subject. Is the governor for or against Obamacare? We'll hear some differing opinions. And Randazzo continues to stir the pot when it comes to South Dakota politics. All this and more on today's Liberty Today.
Well, I'm breathing a sigh of relief that Congress has solved our debt ceiling problems and we don't have anything to worry about anymore. Sam Kephart, you undoubtedly would agree with that statement.
No, I absolutely do not agree with it.
I said it, but I don't agree with it either.
All we did was kick the can, and this comes to this whole concept of stewardship.
Well, it's not all we did. We didn't just kick the can down the road. We raised the debt ceiling
and kicked
the can down the road.
Well, here's the big surprise. Basically, we're going to come to the same head sometime in early to middle February. And I'm predicting we're going to come up on a fence again.
We'll have a grand bargain.
Yeah, but I think this time the wheels may come off Wall Street. I think, you know, that whole thing about a black swan is kind of like the powers that be think they've got everything figured out, and then a comet flies through the orbit. There's going to be some kind of comet, folks. I feel this. I'm not a chirper.
Well, could
in
the
Christian
comet
terms, but I
be
feel
the crashing of the dollar?
Yes, or China and Russia going off the dollar for oil, something like that. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And see, those kind of things, folks, can happen in an instant.
Overnight.
We might go to bed thinking everything is wonderful and our government is protecting us. Well, not many of us really do that, but wake up tomorrow morning and enter a different world.
Well, let me tell you that I think it is Chase Bank, it could be Citibank, but one of the major New York banks starting very shortly is restricting transmission of money overseas by small business to $10,000 a day. Well, for a lot of businesses, that's chump change. I mean, that's not even your credit card receipts.
That wouldn't even fund their cash register.
Right. And they're also asking banks, the Fed is, to keep more cash on hand. The Fed knows something we don't. I say there's a really good chance that sometime first quarter of 14, we're going to have a bank holiday and we're going to have a 2008 style Wall Street crash.
The next Halloween?
Yeah, and I think a dollar crisis. I think there's going to be a real, forgive the expression, witching period that happens, and most people are ill prepared for it, Gordon.
And one of the things you could do to prepare for it is eradicate as much debt as you can.
Correct.
And if you've got money in a savings account, Sam, you could wake up tomorrow morning and the government could confiscate it. The government could do something to make it worthless overnight. So don't depend on your cash resources. Get out of debt as much as you can.
Liquidate the debts. And keep money at home.
And
keep some foodstuffs and water at home too.
And
not crazy tin hat stuff, but just be conscious about it.
If you can have a debt-free home, that's not a bad start. Now, even that might not be the end all, but what else could you do to prepare for what you and I would probably agree is going to be a season of darkness in America?
Well, one of the things,
maybe globally.
Yeah, well, that's just it. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage, I'd get out from under it because I don't think we're going to see these low interest rates. We all know
the government's. Do you think it's ever going to adjust down?
No. And here's the thing: with all the printing of the money, at some point the balloon will pop. Now, who knows when that is? I think it's sooner rather than later. And then interest rates are going to take a real jump. And I'm old enough, many of you may not be, to remember the 18 to 22% interest rates.
Oh boy, yeah, the Jimmy Carter era.
Right, the Jimmy Carter era, and it's very real. I think we could see something like that again.
And a new Ronald Reagan won't save us at that point.
Because we have too much debt.
There's way too much. Over $17 trillion and growing.
Gordon, that's the admitted amount. That does not include what they call the unfunded liabilities, which is the going out 20 or 30 years for Social Security, Medicaid, defense-related expenses that are on long-term contracts. There's a lot of stuff that's not in that.
Sam, that's just the national debt. Many people who live in our home state, South Dakota, think we're a wonderfully protected state. But guess what, folks? South Dakota has several $billion in debt. Wow. When that balloon pops, we're going to be looking
Somebody
for
still has-
high ground.
Well, and that's the problem. Somebody always looks to recover the money, and this bail-in concept, which is where the banks take some of your they literally come and overnight will remove some of the money in your account, and it goes to the government.
Yes.
It's a capital call overnight.
Well, if we think the recent quote government shutdown was something, oh boy, you talk about a shutdown, Sam, I'd say people should probably brace themselves.
Absolutely.
Because something unpleasant is very likely in our future.
Right.